yeah, so today I wanted to talk about Instagram in particular. So my number one tip for getting leads on Instagram. So it's funny because, essentially what a lead is, or what you want a prospect to do with your marketing is for them to react in some type of way based on something that you put out there. Because that's moving somebody from a cold prospect into a warm prospect. And so, back in the day, before social media, we were doing things like cold calling from the phone book. Even some people are cold calling from the phone book. Door knocking, flyers. And I feel like social media has made our job so much easier, but there's a certain way to do it, right? There's like a proper way to prospect people online and offline. But the goal is to get people to reach out to us in some type of way and have some type of response. So my best tip for getting leads on Instagram is to use the Instagram story features. So it's using the polls, the little question boxes. I think those are probably the two best things to use, because you're asking people to take an action. So whatever the question could be, it could be, do you prefer condos over houses, or what's your biggest real estate question? It could be a question, or just trying to incite people to respond to you in some type of way is the best way to move people from just passively consuming your content into actively engaging with you. And I think I hear that a lot from real estate agents is, I'm posting on social media all the time. I'm doing everything I need to do. I'm showing up, but nobody's really engaging with me. Nobody's really responding. And it does take time, because your goal is to create a community of people and people that you are building a relationship with. And those people could be strangers to you. So you have to start somewhere, and you have to start to engage with people. So just as a side note, you should be responding to all your DMs. You should be replying to all your comments on Instagram from your posts. Anytime somebody takes the time out of their day, and first of all, they stop scrolling and they're writing something to you, or they're responding to a question or a poll, take the time to acknowledge that and treat everybody like you would treat a friend. So that brings me to my next point. Once somebody does reach out to you or respond to something that you put out there on your Instagram story, let's say they respond to the question box, they ask you a question or respond with some type of comment, your next step is to start a conversation with them. But this is where I feel like a lot of people mess up. You always have to think about what do I hate that people do to me on social media. So for example, whenever I follow somebody and I automatically get like a canned response, a canned DM saying, do you know 5 people that want to improve their credit, or check out my link? And they just kind of like, it's so salesy, and it's unwanted solicitation, and that's not what we want to do, because people want to see the person behind the business. And anytime you interact with somebody on social media that doesn't know you, I want you to always think of them as how you would speak to a friend. So take off that kind of like realtor mask that we sometimes put on, and just treat somebody like a friend. So this is whenever you're responding to somebody that has reached out to you on social media, they responded to your poll or whatnot, don't come on too strong, but instead just acknowledge that they responded. Hey, I noticed that you prefer condos over houses. That's interesting. A lot of people feel the same way. What is it that you like about condos? And then kind of leave it at that. It's kind of like dating in a way. You don't want to come across as too thirsty. You kind of want to just ease in the conversation. And this is essentially the first time that you're interacting with somebody possibly that doesn't know you. So keep it short, keep it sweet, acknowledge that they responded to you, and that's going to be kind of your first step for moving that prospect from a cold prospect into a warmer prospect. So that's my number one tip in terms of getting leads on Instagram. Utilize those tools that they give us to move people into action, and then when they do, start slow, acknowledge them, and start the conversation going, because hopefully, you know, once they get a reaction from you and a response from you, then they'll be more likely to interact with your content again in the future. So that's it for today. If you got value from this, share it with another realtor, and I hope you guys all have a really good day.